All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Giving you a special live in person TNT Sports. I am at my man Thomas's house in Houston.
Yep. Katy, Texas, actually,
Yeah,
but outside of Houston.
yeah, man. So good to be here.
Yeah.
Glad to see you in person, man. Give you some real Batman love.
Yeah.
But we had to do you guys a nice special summer version of TNT Knows It All Sports. And today we got NBA topics for you guys. We're gonna talk about the draft. Give a quick recap of the draft for our winners and losers, and then we're gonna talk about all this crazy NBA free agency trades, whatever. I call it NBA's definition of summer madness,
Right.
and then we'll finish with a final thought. So,
Yeah.
anything you got? You
Nah, I mean, we were going to drink something, but it's been a long 2 days. So
yeah.
we need to hydrate. So, next time, summer version, we'll have a few adult beverages, but today we're going to keep it PG with some water.
That's true. Plus, man, I tell you what, man, this baby life, oof,
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm past it because it's tough.
Yeah.
Man, and more power to you, brother.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man, so all right. So first thing, let's get right into it. Let's talk about this draft. We already know there was no surprises at number one.
Right.
Of course, with Victor Wembanyama. Well, I mean, that was guaranteed. You could have bet $200 billion and probably won 1 million, which was the odds.
Right.
But he could have, easy million. Wanted to do that. And then the draft kind of supposedly started with number two with Brandon Miller and three with Scoot. So I don't know. You got any thoughts on?
I mean, Charlotte's an interesting team. I mean, they got Brandon. I like Brandon Miller. Well, the way the NBA goes, you want a big man that can shoot a three. Everyone's always looking for like a Kevin Durant. Michael Porter knees were actually better, and he could be, that type of player. So,
Right.
so I get Charlotte. Plus, they got LaMelo Ball, so they can't pass the. Luca actually is not about the NBA draft, but Luca and Kyrie kind of made it work.
Yeah.
But that's a rarity. If you got
Right.
two guys that need the ball in their hand, it's hard to pass it along, right?
Yeah.
I know the Rockets fan with Chris Paul and James Harden that didn't work as well.
Right.
So
They're close though.
yeah, it was close, but I don't know. But it's Charlotte, man. Jordan,
Yeah.
Jordan.
I mean, you know how I feel about Scoop, man. I mean, if he comes out next year, he's number one pick. Just put it that way. Like,
Yeah,
so he's that good. And I'm not saying Brandon Miller is not a good player, but I don't see him as being as impactful as Scoop. And NBA, like we're NBA historians, and
right.
it tells you pick. I don't care if you have a player that is whatever caliber. You pick the best guy. You go for fit, you end up losing your job eventually, unless the fit is exactly the same.
So you mean like Darko,
Yep.
right? Carmelo
Yep.
Darko,
Portland, how many times?
Greg Oden, yeah, Greg Oden
Yeah.
and Kevin Durant. You can go back to Sam Bowie.
Yep.
And
It's like, no, we
Michael
ain't playing.
Jordan.
We have a Claude Dressler. So,
Right.
you better pick Michael Jordan.
Well, it's because in NBA, if you got one of those like Brandon Miller 6'10", can shoot, defend, so there's upside. This is the problem with the NBA. It's all like this difference with like NFL. NFL they try to play football players, but NBA is like potential.
Right.
They'll put you in the D League and then sit for a year or two, and boom or bust.
Yeah.
That's why we'll talk about it more. But how many second round picks? I mean, do we even hear an NBA really being nice?
I know. Now all of a sudden, because Jokic is in there.
I can name five. But yeah, go
So
ahead.
exactly. It's not not many in the history. In the history of basketball.
Yeah, past 20 years, you kind of.
Yeah. You're reaching.
So, but Scoot should be fine. But now Dame's gonna get traded because.
Yep. Well, that was another decision. I mean, I'm like, well, I get it. Why they? I mean, they couldn't pass up on them. They're not. They're actually not a. Portland's actually. I would say they're like. They've done dumb stuff in the past, but I think they're not a dumb organization in general. They're just they happen to be in Portland, so it just makes it harder. Who wants to go there?
The issue is what value. I mean, it's hard when somebody wants to trade, man, trade. It's hard to get the value.
Yeah.
You never see even trades in NBA. I mean,
No.
you don't see even trades in sports. I mean, you might. It's always lopsided. Everything,
Yeah.
always lopsided trades.
Facts.
But there was a Nick Smith Jr. that Charlotte got, I think. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Nick Smith Jr. was supposed to be a top 10 top
Mhm.
15 pick. Some people even say you can slide in the 10th pick. They got 27,
Right.
and he's a point guard.
Right.
So if he pans out and Brandon Miller pans out, that could be and then
Yeah, what was interesting about that pick is funny because when it happened on draft night, I was like, wait, you picked a point guard in the first round? Even if it's late. I was like, so why would you do that if you didn't think if you're at LaMelo and you didn't want to pick a point guard early?
he's like, yeah, he's
I
a
was
point
like,
guard.
yeah, but you know what I mean. But I'm like, I didn't get that. To
Depends
me,
on the value.
I do like Nick Smith though. I do think
Yeah.
he's a decent player, but you're not Scoot again. It's me value Scoot. I could have gotten, but they are, but we'll, actually we can continue on them because since you went down this path, I did like I like Amari Bailey a lot,
Mhm.
and I was to my if you guys remember I talked about last show, and they got him in the second round, and somebody going to start. He's already killing,
Right.
and so that is a good steal. But again, now they got 2 point guards that they just drafted. I don't know. We don't know what Charlotte's ever doing. That's why they're usually flirting, and they're never that great. Like I think the best Charlotte has been in the last like since Alonzo Mourning
Yeah.
was like a 6 seed, like when they've even been to play like the best.
Yeah. I mean,
it's terrible.
Yeah, when they were in New Orleans,
Right.
they're a good team.
And I feel like I still give that to the
David
Pelicans.
West. Was that?
I still give it to the Pelicans because it's like they were New Orleans, they were the Hornets, but really Charlotte was still there with the Bobcats. It's basically the same. That's Charlotte. If you got Charlotte in front of your name, you're not gonna be that great.
Right.
So maybe they'll do better without Jordan.
Yeah, that's true.
But so who do you think was the winners then of this draft?
I mean, I'm not gonna be biased. I think the Rockets were winners. I'm on Tompkins. Thompson, sorry, Thompson, and then
Amen.
Amen. That's why I keep on calling Ahmad. Amen, Tom. Amen, and then Cam Whitmore, which we'll see. He dropped. I mean, is he going to be like Caron Butler, where they drop, or what's the other guys? I forgot the other guy's name, but like the guys that Michael Porter Jr. Does he drop because of medical, and does he want to play? So I like the pick. Jay Bill said on TV that Amon had outside of Victor had the highest upside or potential because of he's what 6'7", 200 pounds, point guard can pass slash, but he has no whatsoever jumper. They showed a couple of shots, but it was the same replays because he only can't shoot.
Right.
But if he can develop, which he looks like his work hard, his craft is good, so I think they definitely won. I also like Orlando. It's interesting because Orlando's just like the Rockets. They got a bunch of young players. They got my favorite player in the draft, Anthony. Anthony Black, right? And then they had Jeff Howard, which might have been a little reach, but I get why they want to get a shooting guard, right? But they have so many to the backcourt, so I like what they did. So, and I got a couple other picks, but those guys look good. But this draft was interesting because there was no trade. I thought it would be like there was 2 trades in the first round. Sacramento and Indiana were only 2 trades. Other than that, there was no movement.
Well, yeah, because they had what's the name traded? There was like one spot, Indiana and Washington. One spot. Yeah, which was weird. I was like, why did Washington feel like they needed to trade up to get Bilal Kuba? I mean, I like him. Right. But nobody was rushing up there to get the French dude. I'm just being honest. If he's a French guy and he's not Victor Wembanyama, he'll probably be there.
Yeah, they don't get me started about France and their players. But yeah, so other than that, I mean, this draft was not what I call a sexy draft.
I didn't think it was either.
No, after you get 6. Chase Walker.
Yeah.
But go. Yeah. Who do you think?
I mean, again, I still don't think this is. I said it last year. I still don't believe it's going to be the greatest draft or anything like that. Personally, I think it's top heavy. But I do like what the Jazz did.
Oh, with George.
Yeah, they got Taylor Hendricks, who I think is I was still with him like this guy shoots like 45% from three,
Yeah,
and
6'9".
he's 6'9". Like he's exactly the new NBA four. Really athletic. So they got their athleticism up, and then they got Keontae George, man.
Yeah.
That guy's a baller. I mean, you can see,
Yeah.
you already see him again. You see, you got to watch Summer League if you don't watch it. I think it's nice to see these players. He's killing already. I mean, they were talking about him on Sports Center today. Actually, they're like It's funny. They're like he reminds me of the player. He's like a little bit more athletic, Jordan Clarkson.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was like, man, that means he's gonna be a 20. He's a 20 point. He's a bucket getter, right?
Yeah,
And they
right.
needed to get athleticism guys who get buckets, and they got both of them, and
Right.
not really early. So I kind of liked what they did, and then now look at our shoulders.
Golden State.
Yeah, I thought Golden State did pretty decent, and again, this annoys me certain picks just because none Knicks had none. Man, the Heat getting Jaime Jaquez, man, late.
Yeah, that's true.
He wasn't on anybody's radar, and then when soon they picked him, all those guys, oh, that was a great pick. That was a Heat pick. I'm like, well, why wasn't he in your projected, first round picks? Because he's a senior, and people seem to be minimized as a senior, but he knows how to play. He's gonna come in and play.
He's a Heat player type player too.
He plays good defense. He's smart. He's
mature.
He's mature. You're not gonna turn the ball over.
Not gonna be on the south. Well, we don't know, but he looked like he ain't gonna be on the south.
Yeah, he was from LA, so he's like, I'm good.
Yeah,
it's another beach, it's another coast.
That's good, right? And then the Portland guy, Chris Murray too.
Yeah. Yes, I thought that's. Thank you for bringing that up. I thought that was crazy that he went so low. I was like, what?
Dave and Jay Bills was talking about.
I was like, what is happening here? So they just got to Portland again. They hope we see what they do with the Dame trade, and we'll talk about that next. But I thought they did pretty good with their young players, but they gotta rebuild. I mean, they gotta start rebuilding at some point.
They got some young talent.
Yeah, but yeah, draft it came, went.
It was even the trades weren't exciting because they didn't trade. It was just they drafted and it was a Victor a sweepstakes, right? So it was a Victor and that's it. Everybody else. I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's.
I tell you, is a loser to me in this draft is I don't really know what Detroit's doing. And I'm not saying I don't like the Thompson twin, Azure. How many guards you gonna? How many point guards? How many guards you gonna have?
Well, how many guards you have that can't shoot?
Right. I was like, I don't understand. They're gonna continue to get to do it. One of these guys are in the pick up.
Cade Cunningham is not the best shooter.
Yep. Ivy
is not a good.
Killian Hayes.
They got a lot of combo guards that can't shoot. That's wild to me.
I don't know what they're doing in Detroit. And I'm not saying he's a bad player. It has nothing to do with it. But
he's good.
I'm like, well, some teams you can look, you're like, oh, okay, I can see what they're doing. They're building an identity. Mm-hmm. Like Oklahoma City, you can see what they're doing. You get it.
Orlando too.
Yeah, I don't know what Detroit's doing. So I bet you him and his brother are going to be having talks. Like, wait, you in Houston? It's nice and warm. I'm here in Detroit being dead and it's cold and these people don't know what they're doing. It's gonna be.
They got the most. Like, if I played 2K, I would never want to be. They have no shooters.
You better all go to the hole. Go for offensive rebounds.
That is right. Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know.
All right.
Yep. Anyways, so
that's how excited we sound about the draft because it wasn't exciting.
We got to talk about it, but.
But I like what the Rockets did.
Yeah.
But my the next session.
Might be feeling different. Yeah, so we're talking about free agency and these moves. So there's been a whole bunch of moves. There's some trades that have occurred.
Yeah.
So
many. I mean, we can't.
So yeah, I mean, we did.
Please Google this stuff, but
we'll just talk about. We're not gonna cover all of them, but we're gonna try to cover some of the main ones. Mm-hmm. So. What do you? I mean, where do you want to start? You want to start with the Phoenix, or
with Chris Paul's ring?
Which one? Right, there's two, right?
They got Eric Gordon too, by the way.
Yes, I like that. So let's talk about Phoenix. So Phoenix made a couple moves. They traded Chris Paul for Bradley Beal. It was a three-way. There's three-way trade.
We don't need them. Those are the two major parts.
The major parts.
Who cares about Tony Craig, you know,
And
Torrey Craig.
what's the one guy's name? The guard from Wichita State. I always
Oh
forget his name.
yeah, you talking about Cam Payne?
No, not Campaign. I always forget his name.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Light skin.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
But he doesn't matter. Anyways.
yeah. It doesn't matter what his name is.
Right.
Sounds terrible, man. But anyway, they make the trade, and people are like, "Oh, these guys are gonna win it all." And I like Bradley Beal, but I was like, "Yo, you need a team. Don't just have a bench, like, and they actually have a roster of players."
But you kind of look at it,
Yeah.
So first, why is Chris Paul always getting value? It's wild to me. He's 37 years old, but you know,
Yeah.
I future Hall of Famer. I mean, he's probably that sucks what's happened to his end of his career, but
Yeah.
Brad. So you got to think about it. Bradley Bill. So what? Where is he? So they're gonna play. Who's gonna be the point guard? Is it gonna be Booker, Bradley? So is their lineup going to be KD at the power, Bradley Bill or Booker at the 3, and then Bradley Bill at 2, and then I don't know who's going to be at the 1. They got a couple of players, but and then Aiden's getting traded, so I assume Aiden's probably going to get traded. But
Yeah.
What their lineup is going to be interesting, but I don't even know what their lineup is going to be.
I'm trying to figure that out.
Bradley Bill's 6'3", so Booker's 6'5".
Right.
Booker not going to defend small forwards like that.
Right.
KD at the power. I mean, it's so.
Yeah, I don't really know what they're gonna do.
So maybe they're gonna put Bradley Bill and Booker and just gonna rotate driving the ball up. I have no idea.
So I will say this about that move. While they didn't, didn't do a ton, like they didn't get any big splash. I don't hate the guys they picked up. I do think Eric Gordon's a pretty good pickup, but they got a Kogi back. They got
There's good defense there.
Yeah, they got a couple. They got what's the name? Metu from Sacramento, who's an athlete. They got Yuta Watanabe, who shoots 43% from three, and he's 6'10", who played with the Nets. So he's got length, and he plays hard, even though he gets dunked on every year. He's always on getting dunked on every year.
Yeah.
If you don't believe me, go Google Anthony Edwards dunk on Yuta Watanabe. And it is probably one of the filthiest dunks in the last 5 years. But that means you get dunked on because it means you're playing hard. That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah, Kia Bates Depot too.
Yep. Bates Diop. So they did okay. That being said, you really, like you said, I mean, they're gonna have to rely on Devin Booker trying to be healthy.
Yeah.
That's gonna be
their defense. It's gonna be. Phoenix. I don't know what the hell they're doing. They're gonna. If I were them, I'll trade Dayton. I would trade DeAndre Ayton for a point guard that actually can play defense.
Yeah. So they're interesting. So that's gonna there's a lot of people's like second pick or whatever favorite pick, in the second behind Denver, who I thought that was a big loss. They lost Bruce Brown. I mean, he got paid 2 years, $45 million. Yeah. He made $15 million for his whole career up to that point.
Right.
So I can't blame him. I'm like, man, you tripled your entire NBA salary in one contract. So, but they'll figure out some way to. I mean, I think Chris Brown, with the AUN.
Yeah.
I think he'll probably get more burn. And they got a couple other guys that were on the bench that contributed during the year that were young that they could probably slide in and give them some good minutes.
Well, yeah. Now the other big move was Marcus Smart and KP getting traded.
Yep. So Marcus Smart, look, I think he's a good player. I think Boston was they were in this weird kind of rut where you have this player, so you got to play him, but because you don't have of all the spots, he's kind of the de facto point guard. That means he has to make the decisions, and he's not the best decision maker that you have. He's not a natural point to set you up, calm you down, make sure you get into good sets. Offensively, defensively, he's great. That's why you want him out there.
That's why I'm surprised Phoenix didn't try to trade Chris Paul and Marcus, like, make that package together.
Yeah, that would have been smart.
Like, they got Pitcher. I think he needs to play.
Right.
But
Derek White.
I hate Boston, so
Yeah,
I hope they lose every game.
But man, I'll say this: if anybody, and it was, well, KP gets hurt all the time. I'm like, it's true, he does, but he didn't last year.
Yeah.
He played 65 games, which doesn't sound like 82, but the Wizards were also tanking, so he would have had like 73 games, which is plenty in the NBA now. That's like 100 games. These guys don't play. And he averaged 24 points, almost 10 rebounds. They got him. That's a steal. Got him for Marcus Smart and like a second round pick. Like they're like sold.
Yeah. So that's probably the two biggest trades.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, there's other little ones like signing. The NBA does signing trades. I don't consider those trades. Their players are going to go to that team. They just have to make the money work.
How do you feel about the same trade? How do you feel about the Chris Paul going to Golden State thing? So what do you think Golden State are going to do with that? Like, what do you think about their offseason? Because they got Draymond, so they re-signed Draymond. That was the rumor that they were.
And they got Chris Paul. They traded Jordan Poole. I think that was a mistake, but they got rid of Jordan Poole. Mm-hmm. So you got to remember they also got young talent on the bench, right? So as that understand, they got Patrick Baldwin Jr. in the first round last year. I think he's going to be a player to watch. They had a second pick and Wiseman, who they gave peanuts away. I would never traded them, but I get it.
Yeah.
So they're probably just trying to get another championship before, they blow the team up. That team's not gonna last. You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna be like the Patriots.
Yeah.
Like when Brady left, and now like the Patriots. So they're just like, okay, well, we're gonna win. Yeah. And I personally feel that's probably why the GM left, because he's like, well, I actually want to create a legacy. Everybody, no, the owner part was like, oh, we need to win now. So they made a trade for Chris Paul. We'll see. Chris Paul can't get healthy. It doesn't stay healthy in the playoffs, so it doesn't matter. So, no, he really doesn't. He doesn't. Yeah, Can anyone name a time that he stayed healthy in the playoffs? Like, I sure as hell can. So, I mean, we'll see with Golden State. The West is going to be good. We'll see. I'm not. I mean, we'll see.
So I'm holding off. Trying to get butter it up a little before I start talking about
the Rockets.
Yeah, Rockets. What do you think? The Rockets was making moves. They had the most money to spend.
$60 million.
Yeah, they had all this money spent. The Rockets signed. Yeah, and what they do?
Yeah, they spent like I don't even know. The Rockets just pissed me off. But anyway, they spent money like it was damn like a Black Friday sale without good deals. Now so there was rumors before they're gonna sign Fred. Fred. I forgot his name because I was so pissed off. Van Beek. Yeah. So that's how pissed off I was. I don't want to talk about his name, but they signed him for. I knew it was gonna be a max deal. At first, I was pissed, but people calmed me down. Tye and some other people it's not that bad. I mean, they could be worse. Also, he's. I mean, I get that Kyrie got the same amount of money, but first Kyrie's a head case. Second, I like Kyrie. Now, would I take a chance to Kyrie? Sure, but it's the Rockets' decision. So he's probably going to do well because the key is Jalen Green, right? So that he's the future. And Jabari Smith Jr., but more Jalen Green, so he'll be a better. Kyrie might, mess his head up and talk about it might be vegans together. So
that's true.
So they don't want that. So he'd be a good leader. And an interesting pickup was Dylan Brooks, right? So I think they overpaid him because he's very limited on offense, right? He's a great defender, limited on offense, but maybe 2 years from now, 20 million might look like 10 million, but. I get what Ume want to do, right? He likes those wing defenders, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But what I don't understand about the Rockets, they had all these stockpile draft players. I mean, picks last 2 years, and it's traded away for nothing.
Yeah.
Kenny Martin Jr. was a second round pick, but they traded away for basically peanuts. And I get it because they had Cam Whitmore and You know, Easton,
Terry
Easton, and the starting one's going to be Jabari Smith. He's a power forward, but he's really a wing player. So they have those guys, and I'd rather keep. I mean, Cam Whitmore. I mean, over Kenny Martin. But Kenny Martin Jr. was making $3 million, but he was demanding trade. I think it was more of a good faith trade. So good. He got traded to Clippers. That was a good pickup.
Okay.
And then the rest of the young players, Josh Christopher, but that was part of signing trade. He wasn't going to apply playing time. TT Washington, Ty Washington. And then some other players, they traded all these young players. What I would have wanted is put all of it together as a package. But technically, I mean, they did kind of do that when they gave max money to Fred, right? So we'll see what the Rockets do. They chose to trade for Patty Mills and then traded again. That's what with the NBA. That's what we can't talk about. The trade. There were so many trades that somebody gets traded one team and traded again, and nothing's finalized anyways. So the NBA puts their whatever stamp approvals on everything. So I like what the Rockets did. Again, the reason why they have to spend money with the new CBA rules, plus unfortunately they're one of the worst teams. NBA, you got to overpay. What? Like, why was Freddie gonna come here if you got if I'm not getting paid? Even though he's actually with Houston, you don't pay income tax in the state.
Well, he's smart.
So he's in Canada. Like they pay.
So he went from extreme taxes to
So I'll say the Rockets did. They should be within the bubble, right? So they don't have. Hopefully, they don't have a first round. They do have a first round pick. They have the Nets first round pick, but Nets probably make the playoffs. And then their first round pick goes to Portland. I'm not Portland. I'm sorry. They go to Oklahoma City. And it's top 4 protected. And that was part of the worst, one of the worst trades, the Russell Westbrook trade. I don't want to talk about that damn trade. So that was part of their trade. So we'll see. But I have my Rockets gear on. I'm excited for them to do well. They've been so trash the last 3 years. So
we'll see. I mean, I think, like I said, I like. Now as a Knicks fan, of course I'm comparing them, but clearly I'm happier with our side, like I was last year. I keep bringing it up because it's nice. I think Fred is similar to Jalen Brunson.
Okay.
I mean, I think they're similar. It's one of those signings like, I remember last year, why did everyone sign him? Why are you signing that deal? And then he's just good for your franchise. Like, you got young guys, like the Knicks were young, and we have a leader that is really not a leader. And then you put Jalen Brunson out there, and all of a sudden we were winning playoff series and like competing against Eastern Conference champions. Like, like it was one guy. It was the same exact team and one guy. We added Josh Hart later, but it wasn't Josh Hart. I mean, I know he got a lot of credit because he's a gritty guy. You're winning because Jalen Brunson was averaging 28 points a game. Fred VanVleet could do the same thing for you guys. Like, he's that kind of guy. So it's worth it. You might feel like it's much, but what he's going to do to help build your team, I think is good. I like that.
Now one trade I'm excited about. It's going to happen. It's going to be Dame, right?
Yeah.
Now there's rumors at Miami, but they want Hero part of the trade.
Yeah.
So let's just throw a hypothetical out there. Would you trade? I would trade Dame. If Hero's part of the package, I'm putting him part of the package.
Of course.
So you wouldn't hesitate. But they're saying that the Heat are hesitating. That's what.
Wow.
Well, I was reading that earlier today.
So yeah.
But again, this is rumors.
Yeah, I know. So yeah. Okay. To me, the Heat went to the final. I mean, Tyler Hero got hurt literally the first game of the playoffs.
Right.
And they made it to the finals.
Yeah.
So just and I know they lost, and we can talk about that. We'll talk about it now because we were talking about Miami, I guess. They lost Gabe Vincent. They lost Max Strus. They lost Victor Oladipo, who didn't even play in the playoffs because he was hurt, of course, because that's what happens to Victor Oladipo, unfortunately. Those guys, Max Strus and Gabe Vincent, were key players. But you take those two off, and if they had to trade, Tyler Hero didn't play. The young Nikola, Jokic, not Jokic, Jovic. If they had to include him and some other, I'm making that trade all day. because you put Dame on that team, and I hate the Heat,
Right,
but they're going to the finals again. I mean, they're just Jimmy Butler, Dame, and Bam. That's a wrap.
Right. And Portland's not interested in
Yeah, that's what I heard. So and I get it.
So
It's
Miami,
weird.
it's weird. Miami don't want to really do it,
Yeah.
but Portland don't want him. So.
It's weird because Tyler Hero's not not a bum.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting. I mean, where would Dame go though? I mean,
yeah, so I've been hearing things like Dame, man. That's Dame, one of my favorite players. If not, he's definitely top three favorite players in the league. Not number one. I think people forget how good he is. Like he's just as nasty as your favorite light skinned player. You know, people get mad. Like, you know, you put him with some players, he's gonna show out. I mean, he already shows out now. And he got him and 6'1", what's his face? CJ McCollum, the shortest backcourt in the history of life.
6'3", but
I know, but you know what I'm saying. I know he's not really 6'1", but he's still 6'3" as a two guard, and you have 6'3" and a half point guard as your backcourt, and you still make the Western Conference Finals. That tell you something. He's the truth.
So you saying the Knicks should trade for him?
Heck, I mean, I don't. Not that I look.
You know, Jalen Brunson wanted to be a part of that deal.
Yeah, I've been reading about the Knicks are always in every trade. We're gonna talk about Knicks next. I'm gonna talk about us because I don't know how I feel about our offseason. Kind of both. But the Knicks are always in every trade room, and people are like, well, this wouldn't work. And I was like, yeah, I hear you, but I would try. Like,
but Jalen Brunson would have to be part of the deal.
No.
Portland ain't gonna trade. Who are Portland gonna trade for? Julius Randle?
No, RJ Barrett. Because he's a perfect. Because they're not gonna want another point guard. That's the reason why they don't want Tyler Hero. They don't want a combo. It's not that Tyler Hero's a bad player because clearly he's not making a ton of money, but he's making a decent amount.
150, yeah.
But he's similar to the guys that they have, and they want to get like a wing, like a 3 or a 4.
Because they already got they got Scoot.
Yeah, so they got Scoot, they got Shaden Sharp, and they got Anthony Simons.
Yeah, you guys. I don't think the Knicks don't have enough assets for them.
We have better assets than the Heat.
Yeah,
because we got like 10 draft. We got like
Heat one, Bam. Blazers.
Blazers are interesting. So I don't know but Blazers are in a tough boat because what are you gonna do? Not trade them? I don't know. But I do think Boston personally, if I'm them, I would try to make that trade. I wouldn't trade Jalen. I heard people saying Jalen Brown. I don't think Portland will want him. He's not a good player. You're not gonna want to pay $60 million when you are about to rebuild. It doesn't even make any sense. So I would trade like Malcolm Brogdon, 3 first-round picks. And Horford, right? He's going to be an expiring contract, and like Robert Williams because he's young and they get a center. And I would send Dame and Nurkic. So you're losing all that money. So you free up all this money on the cap, and you're getting younger, and you got draft picks. Portland would do that. Dame doesn't want to go. Does Boston feel like they can pull what Oklahoma City did? Because people always think that every player gets to go where they want. Remember, Paul George wanted to go to the Lakers badly.
Yeah.
And Indiana was like, yeah, that's cool, but you're going to Oklahoma City, which is Siberia. Yeah. And he ended up liking it.
So speaking about that, that's what I was thinking about the Clippers. About the Clippers making a trade.
Yeah.
If I were the Clippers, I'll make a trade.
I would too.
Paul George in that trade. I would keep Quad if I could. Mm-hmm. Paul George, if Russ signs back, put him part.
Russ did sign back.
So yeah, he did. Oh yeah, he did. Portland got some. They got some young or what's the name? Mann or whatever.
Terrence Mann.
Yeah. And so you can put him part of the trade. If I'm the Clippers, that's Dame's from Cali. I would go for it. It can't be the Lakers. Lakers are lovely, but the Lakers absolutely don't have any. Well, they could make it work, but it would take too many too many moving parts.
Right.
So I would, if I was the Clippers, I would actually make the trade. But the team that should and they won't make the trade is oh my God, I just thought about there's the Clippers and then on you said Boston. Knicks should make the trade. I agree with you, but. Think about if Toronto can actually make the trade. That's the team I was thinking. So from the side,
Wow,
Toronto is.
You got Scotty Barnes still. You got Pascal.
You got
Pirtle.
Porto.
Yep, still Gary Trent Jr.
And and then what's
OG
Anunoby. And they got a lot of assets they can make it. They have a lot of assets to make it work. And then but the coach too.
The Bucks too, by the way.
But
I would give Drew Holiday. Yep, I would send Drew Holiday. I like Drew Holiday as a player, but he's no Dame.
Yeah,
he not Dame.
But the Bucks organization are not. I agree with you, but I was going to say the Bucks, but they're just
they won't do it because they don't think they're loyal.
But Toronto should really think about it. Maybe that's probably why they didn't sign back Fred. I don't know. They might be in the works or something. Toronto actually, and if I'm Dame, I would actually go the East. I'm not saying the East is terrible, but I would go more in the East. I mean, he played in Central and do a little damage. But that's the only real trade that not real trade, but that's the only thing I could see. I could see if he gets traded, it's going to be either the Heat. I see the Clippers being dark horse, Toronto. The Knicks are always everything. I don't see it. But would he really want to go to the Nets?
He said it before. He hasn't said it recently because he said he would want to play with Mikal Bridges. I mean, they got. Because they actually have. Like, think about it. If you look at their team, they got a bunch of guys. They just don't have the guy. Like Mikal Bridges has kind of been that guy doing this year. But you put Dame on that team with Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Nick Claxton.
Right.
Like, you actually, I mean, they would. I'm not saying they're gonna win it all, but they would compete. I wouldn't. If I'm him, he's making the right call, and I hate them. I'm trying to go to the Heat because I think he goes there. They're gonna be in the Eastern Conference Finals. Let's just put it that way. It's happening.
Him and Jimmy Butler and Bam. But the thing is, they gotta. I mean, would you trade Bam? Because Bam.
No, they're not trading Bam. They won't trade.
That's Portland. Portland. Yeah, asking for a lot.
Yeah, I know.
Portland hasn't learned. You're not going to get.
They're in trouble at this point.
You're not going to get. I mean, Phoenix with the KD got pretty good, decent value. Yeah. Nothing adds up. You're not going to get more than what you.
So you didn't ask me this part, so I'm going to put a little spin on it. So we talk about where Dame should want to go, but if I'm Portland, what deal should I want? The deal that I would want, and I heard it today, and I'll steal it, but I thought it was pretty decent, is I would actually trade him to Minnesota for Karl Anthony Towns. Not because I think Karl Anthony Towns is a great player, but he's his contract and the fit for the guys that they have, and clearly they got all these other assets too. He would be a perfect. They're actually, it's a nice little package. You put Karl Anthony Towns, you put a couple first rounders. They have some young wings that like a Nickeil Alexander-Walker who was already there, and they're not making that much money because they don't want to spend that much money. But that's what Karl Anthony Towns there would not necessarily accelerate them. They wouldn't be trash, right? You give him okay, these are young guys, and I still have a go-to guy. He's still 20 points.
I like it, but yeah.
But so if I'm Portland, I would want to do that because that's what they need. They need to be a superstar. Hero is a fringe all-star.
I just don't see Minnesota trading.
Karl Anthony Towns is going to be gone soon. They got Rudy Gobert. They have 3 centers tied up $120 million on there.
I think
Rudy, who they trade 4 first-round picks for, so you can't admit you did that wrong, which we already know is the worst trade in the history of NBA. You got Naz Reid. They just signed this year. They just re-signed him, and you got Karl Anthony Towns. With 3 in the NBA, you got 3 7-footers. What are we doing? So I think Karl's about to go. Karl's going to go. He's just not going yet because they haven't found the right thing. He's gone.
I need him in Houston.
That
really started. Yeah.
So really quick, I gotta talk about the Knicks. I'm not gonna talk about it long. Knicks made 2 moves. It's been like a roller coaster of emotions. Okay, Knicks trade one of my favorites. Man, it's hurting the heart. Man, they trade Obi Toppin for peanuts. So Knicks fans, we got for 2 second-round picks. The guy makes $6 million this year. I was like, I'm not understanding why we would ever make this trade. Very upset.
Because you're the Knicks. What do you mean?
Then This is why this is a two-part. This is where you get to see the emotions. So I'm really upset. I wouldn't say depressed, but I was pretty upset for the entire day after that. I mean, like I was sitting there, I was like, I don't even know what to do. Then the Knicks signed Dante DiVincenzo, right? I had heard rumors about it, and so I wanted him because the Knicks need the reason why we lost last year couldn't hit a 3-point shot. We shot 20% from three. Besides Jalen Brunson, basically Jalen Brunson was the only person that could hit a shot on our team. Now you got Dante DiVincenzo. Even in the playoffs, he shot like 40% or something like that.
So and he can play D.
Yeah, and he can play D. So I was like, well, it's upsetting that Tom Thibodeau did not use Obi Toppin for the way he did because Obi Toppin, when he played 25 or 28 minutes or more, averaged like 18 to 19 points a game, but he didn't get to play, which was dumb anyway in my mind. So I was like, okay, if they're gonna do that and use the money from Obi to sign Dante, I'm cool with it. And so we got better, not because I think Dante's better than Obi. I'm just knowing, unfortunately, that we're stuck with Tibbs, and he's not going to play Obi that much. And we're going to go with the small lineup. So now you got a guy that can hit threes and defend, and it's tough. So I'm not happy, but I'm not as upset. And so I'm hoping they're in all these rumors for trades. They were supposed to be in this Grant Williams trade rumor, but he just got traded to Dallas.
By the way, same money.
Yep.
As Dante. 4 years, $3 million.
Yep. Which
with peanuts.
Yeah. But I kind of think Dante's a better fit for us. I don't know Grant. I don't think he would have been as good a fit personally. But yeah, so we were supposed to get Grant. If we had both of them, I would have been okay, right? Because the other thing is we also have Evan Fournier, who's well, he's making 18 million. Like, what are we doing? Like, why are we?
He on a team?
Yeah, and then
they don't play.
They don't play. And then also we lost Derrick Rose, man. My man. He went to Memphis. I'm sad. You know, I didn't say we did him dirty. He did a lot of stuff behind the scenes, so it was sad to see him. But I mean, Knicks, not a splash. We didn't have any draft picks. I'm kind of, I don't really hate what we're doing now, but next year, I would just put it like this: next season, next off season at this time, July 5th, if the Knicks are not making a splash, then I'm gonna be mad because we kind of know what our guys are, these young guys. Unless we expect somebody to make this huge leap, I don't see it. I've watched enough of our guys; they are who they are. We need another guy, and if that means getting rid of Randall, who we know is not really a great two. You know, we got to do that. And RJ, who I love, I got my RJ shirt on. It's my man's. That means getting rid of him so we can get another, star that's going to be clutch every time. I'm okay with it too because it's been too many years. So, yeah. So anyway, that's kind of the breakdown. Is there anyone we're missing?
Now, I would say another big winner we talked about earlier was Malik Beasley for $2.7 million.
Oh, we were missing that guy.
I mean,
two teams are missing. Yeah.
What the Bucks? They got Brook Lopez back. They got Middleton back, and then they got, which they need a shooter. They got Malik Beasley back. So I mean, I'm not back. I'm sorry, Malik Beasley on the team for nothing.
2.7 million. And I told Thomas a stat. Yeah. Fourth in the NBA in catch and shoot threes total, and he played less than 20 minutes a game. But if you did it per 48 minutes, we do the stat, he'd be number one. But fourth still, even without not even playing that many minutes, that's a steal. So they got Javon Carter, who was pretty good. Yeah, Malik Beasley who can play deep. They lost Javon Carter, but they got Malik Beasley who shoots better, and he's probably not as good a defender, but he's close. That's a pretty nice deal. So there did a good job. Other team I thought did a good job in terms of picking up players, and they did it quickly, was the Lakers. I thought they did a great job picking up guys. I mean, I was like, what is happening here to get these players that they got? They got Gabe Vincent. I thought that was a really good pick. Taurean Prince. They re-signed all those other guys that they had with Hachimura and Reeves. They did bring back what's his face, D'Angelo Russell, um, and they got a center. Who did they pick up a center?
The Lakers?
Yeah, they picked up somebody at center that. I'm missing. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. But they got a center that was athletic, and I was like, oh, they can play with what's his face, Anthony Davis. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, they did do pretty decent. And the last, and it sounds like it was by the way, under the radar, and that's why I wanted to have one under the radar.
Okay.
It was.
I'm trying to find that player, but
yeah, it should be. It should be. You're right in that region too, because it was right around this time. Yeah, it was like, yep. Well, the under the radar move was the trade, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Utah Jazz. The Atlanta Hawks traded Rudy Gay. Yeah, Jackson Hayes. That's who it was. Jackson Hayes from New Orleans is the pick for.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. He's young, athletic. They got him for like $2 million. Like, what is it? Like
2 years.
2 years, $4 million or something like that. It's like
Nothing.
it's like peanuts. And he's an athlete and he's young, so they need to get young because they clearly got old LeBron and old knees, not really old Anthony Davis. But anyway, the Atlanta Utah trade. Atlanta traded. Utah traded Rudy Gobert,
Right.
not Rudy Gobert, sorry, Rudy Gay, and a second round pick for John Collins.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that is seriously, because they were talking about, they're like, that is Atlanta. I mean, I get it. I know it's a new regime, and I understand you.
Wow.
That is that's pennies. Rudy Gay. I don't even know he was in the league anymore.
Yeah, because contract.
But man, John Collins, he's like a 2010 guy.
Because they want to play. What's the guy?
Okongwu and the other guy, Jason or Williams, the guy from Duke, whatever. But and I don't have a problem with Atlanta. But remember those trades they were offering? John Collins was getting. Everyone was trying to get him. First round picks, Karl Anthony Towns, and no, we want John Collins. You traded for Rudy Gay in a second rounder. Utah's winning, by the way.
And they got, which I'm going to talk about in a second, but they also got the steal of the last year's free agency.
Yeah.
Lauren
Markkinen.
Yeah, Markkinen. Who
telling you, man. Yeah, people. I'm telling you, we see with the draft. Right, you see the draft.
Danny Ainge is the GOAT.
I said Utah. You saw in the draft. The team I said I thought the under the radar was Utah. And now again in the freeze, now they got all of a sudden they went from I don't know your team. They've revamped their whole entire team.
Yeah, Danny Ainge
he's the GM for a reason.
That man makes deals. We need to negotiate. We need him to negotiate with UN. The Russia, Ukraine. Then Danny Ainge needs to
Yeah.
Between him and the Eagles, what's his name? The Eagles guy. Oh my gosh. GM, whatever his name is. But they need to negotiate.
And really quick, just for I gotta keep Cleveland Cavs fans out there. I did think they were part of the Max Strus sign and trade. I do think that was a good sign. They got Max Strus and they got George Niang. I think those are two those other sleeper underrated picks. The Knicks. I watched that series. I was in Cleveland. They exposed Isaac Okoro, who I love, but he can't shoot. Now you just got two tough guys that can shoot threes. They both are they're similar, they're physical. You put them at the three, they can help you rebound and they can hit open shots. So now when you play the Cavs, you can't just leave with that third player. They're 40-some% shooters. I thought that those two were very, very good moves. They still brought Karis LeVert back as well. So I think Cleveland is in good stature. So
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else? There's a lot. I mean, we talked a lot, but I mean,
we try to give you
details, but there's so many other moves. But I think that those are all the teams in general. I mean, Dallas re-signed Kyrie.
A lot of players got paid.
We didn't talk about all those deals where people were making $260 million. You're like, whoa, what was going on here?
Yeah, and then they thought Jeremy Grant.
5-year, 180. I mean,
what's the month we wrote kid
yeah,
deal, so.
and that's fair.
No, it is.
But still crazy.
And then, what's the guy in Memphis? I still can't.
Desmond Bain.
Bain.
Yeah.
$200 million?
Yeah.
Maybe that's a sign that,
Money's flying off the boards,
yeah.
man. So
What
hey,
they do CBA rules, that's
yeah.
why they start. It's a great time to be a free agent.
Heck yeah. That next year's gonna be even crazier.
Yeah,
but because they'll start to understand, but they have to get now the
next year's
NBA.
gonna be $60 million players a year. $60 million a year. Super max.
And the thing is with the, just so you guys know, with the new CBA, the main difference sounds like it's all this technical jargon, but you had to have your cap room spent before the season. Before you didn't have it was like before the trade deadline. You have to have your cap spent, so you could be under. You could have all this room and then absorb somebody later. But that's why you're seeing these deals done now. Before the season, you have to have your cap. You can't have this bucket of cap. So they're like, hey, we're gonna do an extension now. We're gonna give you all this money because they got to spend it. They can't wait and they can't hold it off.
Well, you get fined, right?
They're gonna be a penalty. Like it's like almost like the luxury tax. So
owners don't like
they're like, I'm already paying you. I don't want to have to pay some arbitrator.
So what also happens when you spend that money, that means that it's hard to trade players. Because now you have to trade them for equal money because there's no wiggle room.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't like what the Suns did, because you got a bunch of guys that money's gonna be hard to move, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's gonna be interesting. So.
But yeah, man, NBA. I know it's NFL America, but NBA off season, it's just I know it sounds biased, but NFL tries to do it, but NBA, man, it's just come right in. They're just hitting you with bam, 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 and then when Dame drops, you get just going to see whoever goes. I mean, that's gonna change. Wherever he goes is gonna change the landscape of the NBA. So that is going to be big news. That's why you see it on the Sports Center all the time. He's that good. There's not too many players that come like that, like KD, Dame, Steph. Like it sounds crazy that he's in that tier. I mean, he was what, third in the league in scoring, second in the league in scoring this season, third. I mean, people just forgot he was there. He was just scoring 32 points and shooting 50% from the field, 43% from three. Like, this is ridiculous. So, all right, man. Well, I guess let's finish with a final thought. I mean, no. Final thought out there. I'll go first because actually, mine. I had to think about this. So this is sports related, but it's not gonna be long. Sports related, but it's not necessarily professional sports. So I got kids. You just got a kid. Met some Thomas's friends and meeting him, talking to them, their kids. Man, sports, and it's cool because I love professional sports in college and watching this stuff. But these youth sports is a money grab. So if you have kids and you haven't had them start sports yet, you need to start saving up, because if you want to play sports, it's like another mortgage.
Facts.
So
on top of daycare, you have daycare there, so
just put it over. Just put it on the side, just like you put it for your insurance for your house or whatever you do. You better have a sports thing, and it's starting early. And I have a few daughters, and they're into sports, and they're pretty decent. Like they're soccer, and I feel trapped. Because I got to put them in. Because if I don't, then they're gonna be playing with kids that are just out there to look at butterflies and not really play well, versus them with their contemporaries to continue to grow because they like it. So I do hate it. I got friends. I know you guys will be watching it. Some of you in AAU circuit and basketball. Some are doing football. Like you contribute. So I just want to put that out there for you. I feel for you, right? And I don't know what to do, but they tap into the feeling for our kids. We'll do anything for our kids, to the point where it's kind of crazy, where it's an 8-year-old and you're spending thousands of dollars for them to play a sport. When really we were talking about it. We had one little league we were in, but we played every day just outside. We were like, whatever sport, we playing hockey, we playing football, we playing soccer, basketball, kickball, I mean, volleyball, we don't know, whatever, like lacrosse, because we just felt any sport. We're out there playing, riding our bikes. Our kids now, they're on their tablets, so actually sports is kind of their activity, so you're paying for that. But I think, my final thought is it's a dang shame that these
Right.
people are taking over, for our
Yeah,
kids. So,
especially a 9-year-old. You ain't even know nothing about a 9-year-old.
yeah.
You saw that one kid called the baby Gronkowski.
Yes.
Actually, EJ's kids played with him. He said they're not. He was not good in Florida. Not to throw any shade at
Yeah.
him,
I
right?
mean, but hey, it's what it is.
Yeah.
Just like, I got a couple, my boy, his son plays AA circuit. He's like, oh, playing against, this NBA player's son, and my
Right.
son destroying him. And
Right.
this NBA player's son, and my son's destroying him. Of course he is, because it's just a name, right? You
Right.
just it's more social media and like pow than actually getting better
Right.
and working on skills, and not even have to be drills. Just being an athlete and a kid and just playing because you just feel like playing, not because you're being drilled and doing all stuff. So
Okay, that's right.
anyway, but that's my final thought. It's annoying, and I just wanted to vent for everybody that's out there that's feeling this pain, and it's
Right.
all of us across the country. So.
Well, I'll build off that final thought. So I want to actually, I want to talk. I want this to be a topic in one of our future podcasts.
Mhm.
But it's one of my biggest frustrations. When you have a child, you don't go out as much. I got my wife got me for my Father's Day a nice. I finally got an iPad. The other one was broke, but I didn't want to pay for it. She got me one, so I've been using it. While I'm up with the baby, just looking at sports and everything. So one of the things I love to do is like look at like draft classes and recruiting classes, and there's all types of sports. And one of the two things I want to talk about. First, it's extremely frustrating. I can't stand it, and everyone's going to say, "Oh, you're not helping the players." I hate the transfer protocol.
Oh.
Today we talked. I didn't even know half the players were moving, and I'm not enjoying college basketball anymore. I can't even watch it. I didn't even know half these players in the draft. I knew them, but like half of them transferred. You're like, who? You went here, you went there.
You're like St. Mary's, but you played at Michigan
Yeah.
before you went to.
You go to Wikipedia, they got 3 different colleges, and then they got the grad transfer. It's like too many players getting transferred. What happened to like players just, sit in the bench and wait your turn, like the old back in the day, and play 2 years and become a better player. That's when we actually had good players coming. What happens is somebody transfers somewhere, or somebody says, "Oh, you know what? I don't want to play. I play in for the NBA leagues. We play in like some type of league. There's so many leagues now. Like Eamon played in some league.
Overtime elite. I was like,
what the hell is this?
Where can I watch this?
Yeah, overtime elite, and they have different things like that. And these guys get drafted, and you should look at the drafts. Mike, I was looking at these drafts. All these players were top 10 draft picks, and half of them they're not even in the NBA anymore.
Right.
They're somewhere else, and it's because they're not getting developed and everything. And then on top of that, what I don't like about transfer protocol is that the NBA makes it, and NFL, I'll talk about NFL too, we make it worse that you have a small window. I remember back in the days before free agency, before money was in there, when teams like the Steelers, the Bills, the Cowboys, Green Bay, San Fran, even to the extent Miami, teams like that actually drafted well. Even Cleveland, Jesus, Bengals in the 80s, Denver, right? So they drafted well. And you develop your player, you take 2-3 years, you put the right money at them, and you develop them. Now it's like, we talk about Lauren Markin, right?
Yeah.
The dude's averaged 25 points a game. You just gave up on him. Oh, he's not averaging more than 20, 17. So I'm going to trade him to Cleveland and everything. And people don't develop people, right? So look at Josh Allen. There's case studies: Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Lauren Markin. I can go down a list of people where they don't get developed, right? To an extent, I really think Zach Wilson, and make money. I think he could actually, with the right system, might do well. Sam Darnold he could have been, but he's just mentally not there as a quarterback, right?
Yeah.
So, and I know everyone's going to say it's so hard what you're talking about because there's money involved, but we're not developing people.
Right.
In 1980s, the 49ers had 3 quarterbacks on the roster. Joe Montana, Steve Young, and Steve Ballmer.
Mm.
They had three starting quarterbacks on their lineup. It was just like, like Steve Young, like late wait Mike Sherm, and Bills. They had Jim Kelly, Frank Wright.
Yeah.
Dallas, Walsh, and Trey. Man, I could go down a list of players. Can anyone name me a team that actually has a real starting quarterback at NFL, right?
Backup. Yeah.
Their backup, right? Maybe Jordan Love at a time last year.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe, but there's no backup.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you're not good. I'm gonna bench you, bring the next person up, or bring somebody else to trade that.
Yeah.
So it's just we're not developing players, and it's really messing sports. It's not making it enjoyable at all. It really isn't. What's gonna happen? We talk about the draft. Why we weren't excited is because Ty and I know that after the 15th pick, we ain't gonna see them. Guys, honestly, do me a favor if you're bored. Look at the last 5 years drafts.
Yep.
And start looking at 10, and you're like, wow, I remember this guy. Remember this guy. Where did he go? And you Google them, they're like overseas, or they're pro player development or director of a community college or some shit like Ryan Leaf. So,
Recipes, Ryan Leaf.
Yeah, recipes, Ryan Leaf. But like, all those guys that just don't do well. And I just feel I know what the NFL is trying to do with all these leagues and trying to bring big. Johnny Manziel's playing for the fans. I don't know whatever the hell.
Oh yeah, I don't even know.
So,
right, I don't even know
could he get better? So the main point is that what Ty is trying to say, and I added, and we didn't do it on purpose.
No,
this is my topic. This is my topic.
Yeah, I didn't know
is that we're starting them at 8 and 7, where they got to be in there. And then what happens when they start 7, 8? They go, and I know this. I see my neighbors. Their kids get into all these leagues, this league and this league, just per NFL league, NFL ex-NFL players in this league. Then they get to college, high school, and in high school, they're you're not starting. They're not transfer you 4 times. Look, do you guys a favor? Look at a lot of these top players, like even Bronny. He went to different schools.
Yeah.
Right. So they go to different schools or AU circuit. And then they go to college. Oh, you know what? It's okay because I switched so many schools. I could do it in college too. And you get and then you just lose all these talented players. You're like, whatever happened to them? The perfect example of a player that he got released today, Bobo. Look at Bobo's career. The man was at 7 years old, had a YouTube page of him crossing people over, shooting Jays, and now he can barely make an NBA team. And you know how many high schools he went to? Yeah. You know how many people he got, dropped in the draft because he went to Oregon, got hurt. No one gave him a chance. And I hope Bobo, actually I did it on purpose, guys, I don't want to talk Bobo, is going to be the Laurie Markin. He goes somewhere else and averages 20 points a game.
Yeah, because he's got the skills.
But no one wants to take time to develop because he has, so I can go down a list of many players, but just do me a favor, and if you're bored one day, just look at the draft. Look at the NBA 2019 draft, and you'll be stunned. The players that are not even, I don't even know half of them are. So.
Facts, man. Like I said, I didn't know you were going to talk about that, but that is facts. Man. Right. I do agree. I know we sound like the old guys, but it's not. It's not even the past. Just we talk with me in work environments. I'll take about sports. Work ethic and drive is good life lessons. When you are always, it gets a little hard, so I'm gone. It's a little hard, I'm gone. You can do that in some cases, but not all. When you get to a certain level, that's it.
Right.
Like college and pros, that's it. There's nowhere else. So you say I don't like this and I'm not going to try because this don't really fit what I'm doing. Cool. You know what could fit? Go play in that league in Israel or or Turkey. I mean, that's kind of what's happening. So I hope, like I said, I got my boys out there and I'm like, but I know people's parents, man, they're working on the right way. I'm like, just be humble, understand, really do evaluate the situation. Because sometimes you got to leave situations when you're young because the coaches are not really doing, but like learn the fundamentals of the game. You'll be fine. Football, basketball, you learn them. It'll show. Jaime Jaquez, like I said, he's 4 years. Dude's out there balling. And he was 4 years. Well, he's killing these kids. He looks like a man amongst boys. Sometimes, you learn. So
All right.
Yep. Anyways, it's good episode, man. It's good to see you, of course, in person.
Right.
We're gonna have to be back on Zoom again because we're across the country. But thank you guys for, we want to say that while we're here. Thank you for watching and being interested in us. We love doing this. You missed about 7 to 8 hours of this talk already throughout the day, weekend. We were like, oh shit, we forgot to film. I mean, this is what we do. We love it. And we love that you guys like to listen to us. So thank you.
And we like, and you're right, you probably think we're too detailed, but I like detail. And unfortunately, I watch a lot of podcasts and it's very, very amateur. Like, I can figure this out. You want to know what's going on, right? They want to hear stuff. So hopefully you guys picked up some nuggets. But honestly, look at that 2019 draft. I'm sorry, I was stunned by how many. I mean, that's a Zion draft. You guys know the 2017.
Yeah.
I mean, Zion might not even be in the league. He might eat himself and screw some other women around the league. And then after that, it's like John Moran might get suspended. Yeah. And after that, it's like, okay, just look at the draft.
Might get eating too many sandwiches.
Yeah. But again, appreciate you guys watching and take care and have a great weekend.
All right. Again, subscribe, like, send it to your friends. You're like, you might want to listen to these brothers, man. They're pretty good. So we would appreciate it. All right.
Take care.
Later.